On March 15th through the 16th of 2019, Dr. Czar and a group of his students from the JCU Paranormal Research Group visited the Madison Seminary in Ohio.
That I sent you guys to,
So these ones are...
Yeah, they don't work, or they might work, and if you flush them, we might flood the building. Of the two buildings that face each other through the windows, so if you're flashing over here, if somebody's over there, they may see it and be like, what is that? So be aware. That stuff was donated.
I was like, I could not.
Yeah, that stuff was donated. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to weave my way through. This will say, this room is the most active, and this is the room that I go to when I need to calm down if I'm down here for a long period of time. And I get more sensation in there. I've always been I'm just quiet in my life. Some of the physical history to this particular basement, when the police department actually used the building and the health department, this was their workout area, office space. If you go back further than that, the Marion County Prison did a work release for their good prisoners, and a lot of them were in here. There was a woman that killed somebody because she wrote a bad check, and she was in here, and the owners, which I forget their name right now, at the time that ran the whole building, they took such a liking to her, they made her their personal nanny. And
the person?
Yeah, she had killed, I don't remember who it was, I'm drawing such a blank, but she had wrote a bad check because her husband was away to pay the rent, and she got arrested for it. And she killed, I think, the landlords that she was trying to pay the rent to. I mean, it was really bad, but they took such a liking to her, and she raised their sons, and somebody involved with Adam Kimmell has actually spoken to members of her family, and they were like, yeah, she was a good person. She just had an emotional breakdown during that time of her life. Wow. So she was around here. There's also speculation that there was a male prisoner that may or may not have had something to do with rape or molestation, and he's been felt in this area. If anybody's really brave, we have a little space that's been nicknamed the Harry Potter Cubby, and I don't know why, but it's kind of around the corner, and it's literally, there's literally a crawl space underneath the steps. I have yet to meet anyone that's been brave enough to isolate themselves in there. But all means,
what do you mean by isolate?
Go in there by yourself.
I'll go in there.
Thomas will go in there.
Just don't lock them in, you guys, okay? Don't use the latch, please. But every room down here, you guys don't neglect any of them.
Centipedes.
Centipedes are dope.
Let's head to the other side. Yeah. Right here, I know, but the little door right here on the side wall, just before you go into the bathroom, that's the dumbwaiter. So patients or residents that couldn't get up and down the stairs, we could literally send the food up to them. I've never experienced much in this space myself, but so many people I've been with have. So just stay alert is all I could say. I think if there's any activity in here for me personally, I've probably blocked it and turned it off because I need to enter the space to go to the bathroom. So, but that is the kitchen, and just for safety purposes, you could view it and do whatever you need to do through the window, but just don't go in there because I don't know if it, I know they've been working on it, but you don't want to trip and get hurt or whatever.
And this is the bathroom we're supposed to use?
Yes, these are the bathrooms that we use. So we'll go down this hallway, and this is where, for me, it starts getting more exciting. On a couple of you, there's a space down here where the spirit, is always trying to push me out, and we are entering that. So I'm going to politely ask if he is here to please let me come in without bothering me, because I need to show off your space. And this is the area that supposedly the police department uses their office.
That's where we would sleep, isn't it? No, we slept upstairs.
It's also the laundry area. This particular block room is speculated to have been a holding cell or a drunk tank. Chad Lindbergh had a lot of fun investigating in here while we were all in the separate rooms. He was talking like crazy to somebody, I don't know who it was. And that's the laundry room. There's all kinds of activity in here. I can see they've been working, so let's be careful. I have no idea what they're up to. This side, remember the dumbwaiter I just showed you?
Yeah.
So this side has the laundry chute. And I promise you, when we start getting upstairs, I'm gonna have to really think about what side is the laundry chute and what hallway is the dumbwaiter, because I get all turned around, I'm really bad at that. There's up here, and it's actually open, so with the flashlight, we can see all the way through. It goes all the way up. That back room, there's something back there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
Something back here?
yeah.
What about it?
There's
something
something
back there.
back there. I don't know what it is. I could just tell you that I was here for an investigation. And let me see, you see that window seal?
Yeah.
See where that black thing's sitting? Okay, there was a motion sensor light there pointing towards the wall, and there's nobody in the room, so why is the motion sensor going off?
The kind of spirit that would pinch people?
Maybe. I've seen light anomalies down here.
Oh, there's a kitty? Where?
All right, it's gone. Yes, we do have kitties. Pardon?
Was that you?
That was that bird.
So this little room across the hall is one of my favorite rooms, and I think it's just because of the architecture. It has the exposed brick walls. People have had crazy amounts of experiences in here. One of the stories to this room is, I'll be real honest with you, I'm standing on someone's grave, supposedly. We have unfortunately not been able to afford one of those ultrasound things that see through concrete and dirt, but supposedly there was a woman who is buried right here. And there's all kinds of activity in here. You will see shadows. A lot of it is sensation in your feelings that happen, so. Keep in mind that these windows do have plastic on them. If the wind gets strong enough tonight, you might hear the plastic. So.
Is there any information on who's buried here? Or is it just kind of, we know they're there, but we don't know who they are?
Yeah, and we're not even 100% sure that it's for real. I have a cousin that's high-end in the Navy, and he has access to one of those machines, and just to run it for an hour would cost over $1,000. Yeah, so, yeah. So we're still trying to make some connections and find a friendly person that owns one that'll come do it. All right, we're gonna go back down the way we came in, and we're gonna start heading out. And before the furnishings, I don't know, again, the exposed brick, the arched windows. We speculate that this room was the office of the caretaker and his wife. As far as activity in this room, I personally get nothing but warmth, comfort, relaxation. It's just a great room. Other people have had different experiences, hence the little hieroglyphic drawing that was put there by a very special person. That particular drawing is for protection. So other people have had different experiences. But I just love this room. It's easy to tell, it used to be 2 rooms, even the ceilings are different. Please pay attention to the architecture in this room. You're not gonna find tin ceilings like this everywhere anymore. You know, the beamwork. As we start walking through the rooms, don't think I'm crazy when I tell you, look at the door hinges. They are gorgeous and amazing. and I think we're on the right floor, because you guys, I get lost in my own house. I live in a ranch, and if I go in the basement, I don't know what's above me, okay? So, that was always a problem at the Agora for me, too. There's a little kitchen, and I think it's on this floor. With the weather that we're having, you might go in there and hear some like dinging and pinging, and you're not gonna be able to figure out where it is. There's a vent in the hood of the stove, okay? And it's really hard to find, so. You guys could go out that door, we'll go down this side first. Activity ranges in them. This particular room, believe it or not, these encyclopedias that were donated, so they're probably not very old. A person was working the hallway, walked down the hallway, one of the books just flew off the shelf. And it's somebody that I trust and value, so I don't think they made it up. And here's the kitchen with the noisy hood. You will start to see a lot of old wheelchairs. Most of them are wicker. And some of them are actually great tools. They have been known to, my 10-year-old grandson witnessed one move on its own with an adult with him. So I would not sit in them, but by all means try to include them in your investigation because they're a great tool.
Have they been here since the beginning?
One has.
Interesting.
Yeah. A lot of them come in donated, and I'm sure some of the energies that we're now feeling are from the things that have been donated and brought in.
Yeah.
Again, the tin ceilings, you can see the paint peeling. So many people have asked, because you will see, it's hard to see in this light, but discoloration. And if you think about the age of the building, back then they didn't have electricity and light bulbs, they were gas lights. So that's why you're going to see the hot spots on the tin.
So that's actually paint from the 1800s.
The paint, no, I'm gonna guess they probably painted it, I don't know, in the 50s. When did they start painting things? I have no clue. No clue. None whatsoever. Also use this building for their canine training. Oh. So they would hide substances in the rooms, shut the doors, and turn the dogs loose to find them.
No longer on my series.
This particular floor, people tend to gravitate towards one or two areas. This bathroom being one of them, because there was a suicide in this bathroom. A gentleman hung himself in here. So people gravitate towards this bathroom. And I'm not saying that these other rooms don't have activity. You guys have that. There's enough of it. Dumbwaiter. But this room, they all don't care anymore.
What?
Oh, yeah.
You don't like this room? I like this room. Cool. So they come on in.
Hey, buddies.
Just dogs. Hi.
Hi.
Oh,
All right, Daryl, get your people.
This room.
This is, we've called it the bride's room. There's, the only reason it's been called you guys, one experience, because it was really, really cool, and it was something that I was viewing remotely from a Facebook Live feed. And Adam was in here, standing right about here where you guys are, and somebody had a camera, and they kind of did a pan around the room, and that bear's leg moved. And I'm talking the bear's leg.
Oh, we're familiar with the bear.
I swear.
We're familiar with the bear.
Not the doll, not the creepy porcelain doll that everybody's afraid of. The bear actually moved. This is a dental chair. This is not the original one that was here. This is one somebody else brought in. Does anybody here know the purpose of the dental chairs in asylum type situations?
What?
Lobotomy is one speculation. Typically though, you're a crazy person. You're mentally deficit, and you're a biter. They're gonna pull all your teeth out, so you can't hurt your caretakers. So no matter if it was a lobotomy or getting your teeth pulled out against your will, they're not pretty. I wouldn't sit in that one, it's pretty rickety. This apparatus, which is what gave this room the nickname, the Blair Witch Room, I am 99.9% sure in my gut that this is from when the previous owners were here, the Castle family. They had a nursery. That's what's behind the tree line, was the fields where they grew things. I believe this was downstairs in the basement, which I told you was the laundry room, because the wife used that as her seedling room, and I think she used to dry seed pods on different apparatuses like this, because I remember one being down there. So, this room gives off all kinds of craziness, but the bear moves, I promise you.
No, we don't. The bear moved for
We've
us.
seen the bear.
We've seen the bear.
You've seen the bear move on its own?
Yeah, we have a
Okay.
video of the bear.
There you go. So, yeah, this room, like you could just feel it. There's just something in this room. I don't know if it hasn't learned how to communicate, because that's what I feel frustration. Like, I can't get it out. So, let's go around to the other side though, because there's an even better spot over there.
So this is the asylum?
Oh, by the way, just so you know, that doll doesn't have any feet. Her feet are in this closet. We think it was an accident, but we're not sure.
Where's your finger?
Sounds
Very nice.
You never knew it before?
So the last time to use an app or something, because those apps are not all crazy, some of them really work. Put it in airplane mode. That way if you get an alert or a notification or a text message, it won't interfere with your other equipment, especially if it's an iPhone. I can't speak for Android. Just some more rooms being furnished, some more crazy bathrooms. You guys might want to double check with Stephanie downstairs at one of these rooms. She had a door open and close on her, and I don't remember if it was the room door or if it was this door for the laundry chute. This door has actually been caught on video by someone that was doing work in the building for Adam, and it was a really big slam. It was also, they boiled it because it was also really hard. So. And this room, oh wow, they've done so much work. So, everybody know about Sara's room?
Oh, we slept in Sarah's room.
You're crazy.
One night. I did it in second grade. Yeah. Oh, it was our bed. This is Sarah's room where we slept for 2 nights. Brian made us sleep in here for 2 nights.
Let everybody get in here.
She proceeds to.
Yeah, I'll tell you all about that in a minute.
Coins, $200.
Coins.
Do we have almost everybody? Okay, so this is the famous Sara's room. I will tell you now that forever and a day, me and my group referred to this as Maddie's room, because the doll Maddie, which Miss Addie has her because she's like attached to her. I will make sure you guys all get to meet Addie and Maddie. Maddie the doll used to reside in this closet. This room is known as Sara's room. Sara was a patient here. There was stories saying that she was a child and, you know, maybe she was orphaned. But the more stronger possibility, because at the time this was being used by the health department to house, you know, those that were incapable, had mental issues. We think she was an elderly woman that had the mentality of a 6 to 8 year old little girl. Which I could relate to because I have a mentally retarded family member, so I get that. A lot of the furniture is new. They're just trying to make it more homey. But that's why you have all the money and all these little toys. Sara's room is very active in many different ways. We've had rocking horses move. I was actually knocked off a chair in this room. Kind of like a swivel desk chair, but it was one of those big armed ones. And I was sitting in it and literally the whole chair got pushed over. And I'm not a skinny little girl, so that took some effort. So Sara lived out her life here, and that's what all the toys are for. This room is crazy. Some of you already know that. You said you slept in here. The closet, I'm leaving it up to you. There are people that say you should never open that door. I'm curious if any of you have any kind of special abilities and you get some sort of sensation. I'd love to hear what you think about the closet later on in the night, because I have my own opinion. And it's not bad. I will just tell you that, it's not bad. So, don't remove anything, especially all the little coins and the money, because things tend to pop off when that happens. You're welcome to play with it and move it, do whatever you need to do. I mean, these toys have been known to go off on their own, so yeah, just have fun. This is one of the more highly active rooms, and somebody hung a wind chime for you guys, so that's even cooler.
Good stuff.
Yeah, they're just making it easier and easier, so. I'm kind of overwhelmed. I haven't been in this room since they've added the bed and the dresser and some of these godforsaken dolls. At least there's no clowns yet. The piano. So maybe we could, you never know. Yeah, I mean, well, it's a child's toy. So, but that wooden rocking chair, this rocking horse is new. I've never seen it, but that wooden rocking chair, we have seen move on its own. We know way around it. As a matter of fact, I have a team member that was so spooked out by it that every time they come here now, they just sit on it so it doesn't happen. You know, when something catches you off guard, I don't care who you are, it gets to you. Okay. So obviously, this is the asylum floor. That ladder goes up to the attic. It's not safe, so please do not go up there. You will see around the corner the dumbwaiter that came up to bring food. Some of the suspected history is these little window alcoves is where they would wheel patients into for family visits so that there was still a full view by staff. But this is their community room, their meal room, and we are right here. This is the top of the original staircase I was telling you guys about. So one experience I'd like to share with you, because it's one of my, actually two of my claims to fame happened in the dumbwaiter handle that is on that, looks like a ladder. There's no rope attached to it, but you will see, you could go over there and you could see the hole in the top that the rope would be on, and then they roll it up and down to deliver food. I got that handle to move about 3 inches on its own by just standing there and basically willing it. And that was one of my first ghost hunts. The next time I came here, my team likes to do, and Emily may remember this, we call it our Kumbaya Session. So no matter who we're with, how big of a group, we always find either the most active location or the big enough space in the location for everybody to gather. And here it was this area. So we have absolutely everybody sitting in a big circle. My back is to the windows. We had one team member that was on the Civil War side, happened to be my brother-in-law. He's a photographer. He wanted to do pictures of different things while there was nobody to disturb him. Okay, fine, we're going to do our kumbaya because the night's almost over. We all have walkie-talkies. And when we do our kumbaya session, everybody puts all their stuff, whoops, sorry baby, in the floor in front of them, okay, and we keep our recorders on. And basically it's a group EVP. And we get to about the third question and you hear this blood-curdling woman scream. Everybody in the room looks at me and they're like, Tina, are you okay? I'm sitting there petrified because it was my voice to me, but I didn't scream. My brother-in-law in the Civil War building also heard it. He immediately started blowing up the walkie. Where is Tina? Where is Tina? Why is she screaming? Where is she? Tell me, I'm going to her. He's a police officer, so that's his immediate instinct. We're going to flash forward to current years. I have had phone calls from friends that have been here working And while on the phone call, we can hear the scream in the background. I have had friends call me because they have heard the scream and they're the only one in the building and they are petrified. What it is, we don't know. It's not always heard from up here. This is just where it happened to me. I was telling Matt that we have live camera feeds. Paranormal Warehouse, you can find them on Facebook. There are cameras, they're not on today, but they can remotely turn them on and do a live feed from Madison whenever they choose. And last weekend they were doing one. This wheelchair has been set up here for several weeks. This doll that I just knocked over has been sitting, and you can see, I mean, she's back there pretty good. I whacked her with my hands when I turned. Live feed camera is right there. Yeah, right by the, yeah, you can see the red lights. This doll flew out of this chair last week for no apparent reason. I will tell you, I mean, there was nobody in the building was closed. And she flew out of this wheelchair. One of these wheelchairs is the wheelchair that is known to move on its own. My grandson is the one of the children that have witnessed it, and it happened on Halloween night this past year. We were doing a trick-or-treat. And the chair didn't just move, it rolled forward, it rolled backward, and pivoted. And he was with an adult that witnessed it, and I've never seen two boys run out of the building so fast in my life. And it was purely excitement for them. So, very, very active room. But we're gonna head back here. I did bring a flashlight up with me, so if anybody has one, you're welcome to light it up. Thanks. These rooms were filled with anywhere from 2 to 3 patients. This is where the most severe, the insane were housed. This room has extreme activity. This room has activity. This room, since 2010, I cannot go in there. And if you just hold your hand up, tell me if I'm crazy, see if you feel a heat difference. It actually feels warmer.
Oh, it's warmer in there.
Yeah.
Boy.
This room, it's not as warm here.
Yeah. It's warm in there too.
It's not as warm as that. It's still a little bit warmer, but not as warm as that. Yeah.
That's crazy.
This room has proven to have extreme activity. This room has activity. You'll notice little gizmos and gadgets like this room has a this demo chair at the end of the hallway is the chair that has been in the building as long as I've known the building. That chair is a little sturdier. You are welcome to sit in it and take pictures of each other's feet.
What about the operation room here? Is that off limits or?
They're old.
Okay.
We'll double check downstairs, but that's probably the laundry chute. Every one of these rooms has had activities for different people. I have been around and witnessed it. It's always a surprise, like, oh, you got activity in what room? I've never had anything in that room, but, and then the next time you come with somebody different. The architecture being at the top of the building, just imagine being housed in these little rooms. I did that. There's nothing, just so you know, there's nothing behind these doors but windows. It's literally the doors to these 2 end rooms just open. It makes a nice backdrop. One of the stories that I was always told about previous to 2016 is one of the entities up here is a very angry, mean nurse. And she was very, very mean to the patients. And she still likes to be around. I will tell you that last room before we turn the corner, on this end, on the side, several people have had extreme experiences in that room. I know you guys don't go wandering off on your own, but I would seriously just make sure there's 2 of you in there at all times.
Which one?
That last room before we turned the corner.
Oh.
Yeah. There's been some extreme experiences from there recently.
Okay.
So, you know, the nurse is something that we were always told about. We would get crazy activity. This is commonly known as the lobotomy chair because that's all they used to talk about, is that it was a lobotomy chair. People like to use it for pictures, and there's been known to stir things up when you do it. Not within the chair, but it seems like if somebody's playing with the chair,
Like
then other
activity
things
happens.
start to pop, yeah. That room down here, for whatever, I think I feel the spirit's name is John. The gentleman, the first room right behind us. He likes to communicate with men, tall men. That would be a good room for you to check out with somebody.
Sounds like fun. I'm a short guy, so I'm good.
So we can sit in the chair?
Yeah, you could sit in this chair, take pictures of each other.
Do you want to get me in the chair, guys?
Sure. Okay, so guys, I think we should head downstairs and get your rolls aside. So what I'm going to...
Is there a way to take pictures?
It's just a camera.
Oh, yeah, just hold it steady. Okay, so we're all gonna go downstairs, and Connie and Alex are going to help you guys get your rolls set up and everything, and Thomas as well, but I'm gonna steal him for a little bit first, and we're gonna start setting up a lot of the static stuff, okay? So go downstairs, get everything together, and so by the time we set up everything, we're just gonna be good to go.
So when you go out to the front of the building, if you went right, you would go back to the main street. You want to go left. And it's on the same side as us.
1800s. $1814, 1892, 1817 to 1884 looks like.
I would know it's 64.
You're right, 64.
Yeah. But I was gonna head back.
Okay, that's fine.
She just doesn't want to leave the heater. Don't let her fool you.
As a question for my students, do you think the Madison Seminary is haunted? Please let us know in the comments section below this video. If you liked this video and would like to receive notification of new videos, please feel welcome to subscribe to History and Headlines and become one of our patrons. Your viewership is much appreciated.